Hey, my name's Jack Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about what's happening at different ends of the market. You see, one end of the market is really busy at the moment. Houses are selling well, house prices are increasing, and the opposite end of the market has totally stalled. In this video, we're going to talk about why that is, what impact that will have on house prices for the rest of the year. And will this change? Once the budget happens, will suddenly the market kick into gear? Well, we'll cover all of that in this video and more. And if you're new around here and you haven't done it already, do make sure you subscribe to the channel over there and hit that bell notification. If you have a look around this video, we're so close to 50,000 subscribers. It's such a big milestone. Help us get there a little bit sooner. And by subscribing, you'll get all the latest house price news, interest rate news, property investing tips, and much, much more. And let's get some views on this video. Your part's simple. All you need to do is smash like, tickle like, do something to that like button. That helps with the YouTube algorithm, and that really has helped the channel grow. So thanks to everyone that does that. So what's going on? Well, the biggest problem we've got at the moment is the budget. This is causing major uncertainty at the moment. And so the government are leaking their plans. They've done that twice this month already. And the goal of that is just to see how we react to that. Is that going to lose them lots of votes, or are people not really bothered about it? And the two major leaks that they've had is first, property tax. So for higher end properties, we're talking above £500,000, they're considering introducing something called a property tax. Now, this already is active in America. So most places in America have property taxes. And how it would work is, rather than paying stamp duty, you would pay an annual property tax. You would also not pay council tax in this instance. And so you'd remove your council tax, you'd remove your stamp duty, but then you would pay an annual fee, which would be higher. It would be a higher amount. So the government wouldn't get a big lump of stamp duty up front, but they would, for many, many years, get a big lump from you each year. Now, that sounds good. What it does do, it does encourage moving. So stamp duty can be an obstacle to moving. If you think about it, you've got to buy a property, you've got to save up a big lump of money up front in order to be able to pay that stamp duty. This takes that barrier away. So if you move to a bigger property, you just know that your bill's going to be slightly bigger each year. Now, where this becomes a problem is when you retire. And so for people that retire, the property tax really hits them because their income has dropped and they struggle with the monthly payments or the annual payment, whichever way they choose to do it. And so it's good up front. So if you want to buy a property and you're going up the property ladder, that's good. It's just not so good when you retire. So that's one thing the government's considering. The other is stamp duty instalments. And so what they're looking at doing here is, rather than paying that big lump up front, allowing you to pay the stamp duty over 2, 3, 4 or 5 years. There's no real clarity on how many years that will be yet. But that's a better option, because that would bring some more people into the market, because the property market is slow at the moment. We normally have around over 1 million sales in a year. We'll just about get there this year. And a lot of that has been down to the fact that we had a very busy first quarter. So I think stamp duty in instalments could be good. If you let buy-to-let landlords do that, they could be more excited about jumping into the market. So that's something that's interesting. But because of this uncertainty, so these are the two options that they're looking at. There's maybe others, and if there are, those will get leaked and we'll cover them on the channel. That's why you need to subscribe. That gives uncertainty. So let's just say now, today, you could afford a 600 grand property. So you want to go shopping and have a look what options you've got there. The problem is, you don't know if you're going to pay normal stamp duty, as you do right now, or if you're going to pay a property tax, or are you going to pay stamp duty in instalments. And so because of that uncertainty, people are just not doing anything. They're waiting and seeing. In fact, thousands of people that watch this channel, or at least hundreds, have commented on it. So I would argue that thousands would be considering this are in transactions at the moment, and they're saying, look, I don't know what to do. I don't know whether to slow walk this and wait or not. If I had a transaction for a property at the moment, I probably would slow walk it. I just would want to see what the options are, just in case they're better, because it's not long until the budget. In a property sale kind of thing, it's not long. So you could tell your solicitor, just be a bit slower getting back to people and stuff like that. So what impact is this having on the market anyway? So 500 grand plus properties. So when I'm talking about I'm talking 500k to $1 million here. There are 4% less buyers at the moment. 4% less buyers that have just left. They're not looking, so they're sitting out at the moment. What about £1 million plus properties? Well, that's even worse. There are 11% less buyers in that market. That's a big slowdown, and that really will impact those property sales and probably prices. People will be really fighting to get those properties cheaper, and so the sellers won't have lots of options. 4% is a big deal here, and so what we're saying here is the top 10% of all sales in the market is struggling. There's not lots of buyers. This has already had an impact on house prices. So in central London this year, and considering house prices in London went down last year as well, there's already a 4.7% drop in central London house prices. We're talking Chelsea, Kensington, Belgravia, those sorts of areas. Those luxury properties already had big drops last year. I think one of the years during the pandemic, it was around 20% down. So this is on top of that. So you've got some big drops in central London at the moment as the rich people are leaving and other people are just waiting to see what actually happens with this stamp duty stuff. So the main thing is people are waiting for the budget. How is it impacting properties below 500 grand? Not a lot. That's actually quite stable. And in fact, anything below 200 grand, those markets where the average house price is below 200 grand, those prices are strong. Northern Ireland, the north of England, they're nearly 10% up year on year because people can still afford those properties. Mortgage rates have dropped, so affordability's improved there. Pay rises have gone up this year. Even with inflation, people can afford those properties. So those ends of the market where you've got an average of 200 grand, around that sort of level, they're not being impacted by this stuff. People aren't waiting. They're just saying, look, let's crack on. The stamp duty is what it is, because it's not a huge sum at that level. When you go above 500 grand or above $1 million, that's when things really, really slow down. So look, the market's slower. The real outcome that we're expecting here is that once we've got clarity from the budget, look, maybe they can keep stamp duty as it is. That might get the market going again. It's the certainty that people want. And by then, by the end of November, you probably will have had one Bank of England cut or one coming up very, very soon. And so you'll have another interest rate cut added onto that, which will make a big difference as well. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Are you in a position where you're just waiting to see what happens? I'd like to know that. It'll be good to know and share that data with us here. And if you haven't grabbed our ebook, Mortgage Secrets, thousands of you have already. This will teach you how to get the best mortgage deal, how to find the best broker, when you should start the process of getting your mortgage in place or remortgaging. And it will talk about off-market lenders. They're important as well here. And so there's lots of off-market lenders. Think of car insurance, direct line. Lenders like that for mortgages. You should be checking rates with them as well. They're not on the comparison sites. They're not with your broker. You can find all of that out in the description and in the first comment. Do also check out all the other content as well on the channel, including this video right here.